recycling, an environment, and electrical power. Because I do believe it's us. But at this point, we don't have the technical.
So why do you believe it's us?
I believe it's us, but at the same time, look, this is my key
But so you don't like it that he tries to influence people. I don't like that kind of thing.
I don't like that he's trying to influence people
In the same way that
by theory. Exactly. That's my problem with him.
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea he's spreading, but at the same time, it's hypocritical of me to say I like what Al Gore is saying by theory, but I don't like what Bush is saying by theory.
I think the problem with this Al Gore is that he wanted to become a president. So he's probably the wrong guy to say this stuff.
Yeah, no,
you kind of mix this with political.
If you watch An Inconvenient Truth, Al Gore's movie, you can tell he's making a point in extravagant points. There's one scene that hit home to me. Like, I do agree with it, but he's got a graph that's CO2 emissions in 1970 and in 2000, and he has to take a forklift, like a 20-foot forklift, to point out in 2000. I say, now look, Al Gore, you cannot prove those. You cannot prove that as a definite fact, but you're doing that for an image, for an impact. That's why I lost respect.
You actually have to know a lot more about statistics, a lot more about these science to say actually that.
But as human beings, we don't have that technology yet.
Yeah.
In 10 years, we will.
I mean, you personally, you have to know a lot more to say that it's not true.
But most people are just like, oh my God, he used a forklift. I love him.
Yeah.
See, Caroline's filming this.
It's a good code. So, what is the problem?
Get him.
It's just better for us. So,
just forward.
But it's, but he's right, whatever way it is. But influencing people on a really nasty way, when you're telling someone that's a fact, people will believe it's a fact. Maybe it's in a good and a bad way.
But maybe for people it's the only way to make them understand.
But Al Gore also in 2000 stood for the fact that people should be always told the complete truth. That was one of his pillars. He didn't want people lied to. And now he's betrayed that by doing this movie and not portraying the complete truth, because we don't know the complete truth.
Maybe he exaggerates. Okay, I understand. It's the only way to make people understand. It's the only way.
But it's not. Because by
people...
his words, that people should be told the complete truth and nothing but the truth. That was in one of his presidential speeches. That's why I hate Al Gore. Because he betrayed his very own beliefs for his own ideals. He betrayed those. And I believe what he says, but he betrayed his own methods. If he just stayed with science for 2-3 more years, in 2012, he would have run away with president, because people are like, shit, this guy was right. He knew that global warming was coming and it was going to fuck us over. But right now, we can't prove it. We can't prove that it isn't the world. There is no empirical proof. We know that CO2 emissions have gone up, but we don't know how our world reacts, because this has happened three times.
We're polluting so much. It's a fact. It's not a theory. I don't know.
It's not a complete fact. The world is warming, and we are increasing CO2 emissions. That's a correlation. A fact is a correlation that is identical. Correlations are not identical yet. They will be in 5 years. I agree with you that we are causing.
We're responsible.
I agree with you with that point, but we cannot prove it. We cannot prove it.
Yeah. Even if we can't prove it, it's increasing. So we don't care if we know that.
Forward.
The thing is, there's that stupid George Bush, who's trying to influence by telling that God has told us that it's like that, it should be like that, and he should be the president. That's stupid. So how should anyone get against him? You really have to use kind of techniques to maybe to make people kind of influence people, maybe, but also tell them maybe in an influence way.
But I agree with you. That's the way it's done. But Al Gore said he wouldn't do that. That's my thing with it. I agree with you that you have to manipulate people to get power in the United States. But Al Gore said he wouldn't do that.
But what's the point?
No. I agree with you. His idealistic standard said, I'm not going to manipulate people.
Do you think
now he's manipulating people.
He's thinking about the election.
I agree with his manipulation, but I don't agree with the fact that he's betrayed his own standards. Because when he gets elected, if he gets elected a president, he could betray his own standards, and it would be something he's done before.
That's what
thanks to him, people will understand.
If I was like, if it was like you know, one of the
You just said
candidates, I
that
would maybe
it's not Gringo as
Yeah, I understand, but
politics
I, yeah, I know, but
scientific base, but only on political base.
But that's what bugs me, because my entire senior thesis, every work I've done in my undergraduate level, is going to be how people need to know more about their governments. And the fact that I've got 4 major pieces on it. I know I have to write 4 10-page sections on this paper. 2 of them are going to be Al Gore and how he betrayed his beliefs, and George Bush and the war in Iraq and how he betrayed his beliefs. And the other 2 I'm unsure of. I think it's probably going to be something like Nixon and Kennedy. Are probably going to be the other 2. But Gore's like, I won't lie to the people, I won't portray theory as truth. But he did do that. I may agree with his conclusion, but I can't agree with his methods because it does contradict what I believe. And although I do believe it, and everyone says, oh, well, it's okay, there's something inside me that conflicts with that. You believe this, you believe